Hello everyone, my name is Pankaj and I'm a software engineer at Uber. I work with teams that focus on building tools and features for privacy. At Uber, we've taken a proactive approach when it comes to privacy. Building trust is at the core of dealing with customer data. I'll be talking about our journey at Uber that goes beyond just compliance and towards transparency and trust. The first half of the presentation will focus first on the tools around compliance, and then as we progress through the slides, we'll soon start seeing how the boundary expands. So in today's agenda, we'll start with DSAR automation. Next, we'll talk about three features: download your data, explore your data, and privacy center. We are reviewing these tools and features today as they represent Uber's journey from compliance to trust. So what's a DSAR? A data subject access request, or in short DSAR, is a legal right individuals have to access their personal data being processed by business. For example, a user can approach Uber and request data such as trip information or order details. They will reach out to us with their request, and at the end of the process, receive a compressed file with a copy of the requested data. Now the manual process of this is pretty taxing. So we have built an internal tool to automate the fulfillment of this DSAR process. Let's have a look at what the tool is. So here's what the automation tool looks like. This is an internal tool that allows support agents to make a simple sequence of selections to submit requests. On the left, they can select the subjects individually, or they can just upload it in the form of a CSV. On the right, the selection of the required data categorized into templates like driver, courier, rider, or eater, etc. And then just submit the request with a look-back period. With these simple selections, they can capture and submit a large volume of user requests covering a wide array of data. Let's look at the architecture of the DSAR automation tool very briefly. This is what happens behind the scenes. So the system can be divided broadly into an online and an offline stack. So the online stack is basically a microservice that does CRUD operations and stores incoming requests. One request can have multiple subjects, and subject can be a rider, eater, driver, basically consumer. The offline stack processes these requests asynchronously. This scheduler picks up the requests and creates long-running workflows. These workflows have the business logic written into them. We try to optimize on throughput at the offline stack. Schedulers can decide the throughput based on the infra capacity, capability. We use Cadence, which is a stateful code platform built at Uber for workflow management. It maintains long-running context, or in Cadence world, they are called activities. Cadence is an open source stateful code platform. You can find, I'll link the link at the end of the deck. So why use Cadence and not build anything on Cadence or in the privacy team itself? Since Cadence is battle tested for reliability and scalability, we just decided to use that. The context and activities can stay alive for hours, days, or even months. We use an in-house ETL platform at Uber called PEPR to build and orchestrate ETL pipelines. So we have pre-built pipelines that are activated by these Cadence activities. We use Spark apps on Yarn as the data processing layer. These are pre-built Spark apps again that actually run these heavy queries on our Uber data lake to actually get and query the data. Let's talk a little bit about the technical challenges of DSAR automation. So as you know, each region has its own varying requirements, penalties, and including stringent response times. For example, GDPR has a response time of 30 days. Now that actually leads to a lot of technical challenges. Uber thinks of automation as a way to get ahead of things by building trust and compliance with the customers preemptively, because that's the right thing to do. What are some of the technical challenges actually from this? So we want to provide the data as quickly as possible. Now offline tables And this is a really challenging problem. Offline tables are partitioned by dates, by date first, but DSAR looks by users first. How much in the time in the past do you really want to go? The loopback period, more the loopback period, more surface area to scan. Now these are long-running processes. A failure in one batch means extra resources and the resources lost. So we have to put fault tolerance as a first-class feature when making design decisions. Data can be in tabular form, structured, unstructured data. We just cannot apply the same kind of pattern to all kind of data. In the same suite of compliance tools, Uber has a consumer-facing feature for privacy-minded users called Download Your Data. DYD or Download Your Data. Simply put, download of a comprehensive and detailed copy of your data. DYD contains a subset of the most pertinent data you would find in DSAR. Some thoughts that went in when building these features are to let users download that data at the click of a button. We can help users understand what data Uber collects about them. They can go to DSAR, but the benefit of this is it's self-service. They don't need to go through customer support, and that way it also helps some of the traffic redirect. So how does DYD work? It's simple. User requests the data. User receives an email saying Uber has received the data, your data request. We process the request. We provide the data as a zip file. The user receives an email that your data is ready and a download link. As you can see in the last image, each zip contains a list of folders and CSV files that actually contains the data. Let's look at the architecture a bit, and it's pretty similar, actually very similar to the DSAR automation architecture, but with some key differences, which are now user makes the request from the Uber app, now which means one request equal to one user, and which means the scheduler has to be smart enough to view parallelism as the number of users being processed concurrently. Also, the scheduler triggers one batch to completion before starting another batch versus what happened in DSAR, which was DSAR used to run n number of requests, n number of DSAR requests parallelly. Now, download your data feature request data from other online Uber services as well, and data custodians, which mean handling not only offline data sources but online data source too. These backend investments in automation and DSAR, in our DSAR and DYD systems, make it possible to focus on other user-facing products around trust. We truly believe in building not just for compliance, but also for trust. At Uber, we believe transparency allows customers to gain a better understanding of the data and how their data will be used, which enables them to trust us with their data. With that note, let's move to our next feature called Explore Your Data. Now, most users aren't very technically savvy. Analytics data is great, but not very helpful for them. But we do want to help users understand the data. We do believe data will help users in experience. As well, as we'll see it in our next slide as we go through what UID has to offer. So what UID has to offer? With UID, users can find knowledge cards on how to use the tool, Uber's commitment to privacy and trust. User can find insights like how many trips or delivery you have done, details of the trips, number of Uber Eats orders, ratings, and this is something that actually went viral on TikTok a while back. It's a breakdown of your ratings basically. FAQs on data like in what situations Uber shares your data, how can you delete your account, to name a few. As you can see, our primary objective here is to provide an in-depth understanding of users' data. This increased transparency with users, reinforcing user trust. Now, you might ask me, you talked about these features and transparency and trust, but at the end of the day, it's not really transparent if these features are buried down the stack and I have to spend a lot of time navigating around the system. Well, you don't have to. We are very transparent about where to find them, and that's where the privacy center comes in. We want to empower our users to take control of their privacy. So we built a one-stop shop for all things privacy. The Privacy Center is a centralized hub showcasing the numerous product features and enhancements for riders, eaters, and earners. You can just go to Accounts, Settings, Privacy, and Privacy Center. Apart from the plethora of features, settings and knowledge cards around privacy and how privacy is at the forefront when it comes to making product decisions, Privacy Center also serves as the entry point to the two features that we just talked about. So with that, when we build for compliance and trust, it's really an endless journey. So DSAR automation, DYD, EYD, and Privacy Center are examples of our key milestones on that journey. But there's always a long road ahead, things we can improve and make things better, and that's what we try to do. So thank you very much for your time.